Today I'm going to talk about all things Virgin Voyages because I just got off of my first cruise as an adult and I have a long list of things that we have to talk about. So first I'm going to start off with the planning side before you even go. So as a travel agent, I had a group going, and so I set up everyone, so their process is really easy. But if you were to go on the website yourself, Virgin's website is amazing. It's very simple. Everything's like laid out. You could easily click and get the cruise that you want, pay for it, and be done with it. Of course, I'm gonna say the best way to do it if you're just like overwhelmed by planning travel, looking for the different cruises, I'm gonna say go with a travel agent, but it's just my opinion. Another thing is the customer service. It's amazing. I had so many questions when I was booking my first cruise, and anytime I call, I might have a short wait, but they get right back to you immediately. Like it's so fast. Next thing I want to talk about is when you choose to cruise. So for my cruise, I chose October because my group was looking for a last minute trip from Miami. We planned to go to the Caribbean, and of course it was during hurricane season. So planning during hurricane season is always a hit or miss. Your itinerary could get changed, like what happened with us, but still a good time. And if you're looking for a cheaper cruise, go during the off season or hurricane season to save a little bit of money. Check-in process. So pulling in, it was so easy. Type in Google or Apple to find Virgin V terminals. We didn't have any trouble finding parking when we got there. Probably because it's off season, there's not that many people, but it was really easy. We actually found a parking spot right on the first floor, directly across from the terminal's arrival time. So of course I did my research prior to us showing up, and from everything that I saw, you should get there at your arrival time if you don't want to be standing outside in the heat. So my husband and I showed up at our arrival time, but our friends actually showed up about 45 minutes earlier, and they were actually allowed to board the ship early. So with the arrival time, I'm sure they want you to arrive close to your arrival time, but depending on how many people are on the ship, if you show up early, you may be able to board a little bit earlier. So once you park, you walk towards the terminal. There are people outside taking your big bags from you. They tag it and they take it on the ship for you, so it's there when you get on. Then you just head upstairs. It was a very short line for us, I guess, because we showed up at the right time. There was really nobody in line. You show up, you show your ticket, and they send you to one of the sailor services people to get you checked in. That was really simple. We just showed our boarding passes, they put our wristbands on, and then we went through the security check. Do not bring anything that you know that you're not supposed to bring on a cruise. Don't risk it, don't chance it. If they say don't bring it, don't. Now, you are allowed to have 2 bottles of wine. I think it's 750 milliliters per bottle per cabin. So if there's 3 of you in a cabin, you can only have 2 bottles of wine. Everybody can't bring 2. Another thing is you can also bring small cans of soda that are closed if you do choose. You can find out exactly how many on their website. And so if you like a particular type of soda, you want to bring that on, you can, even though all of their sodas are actually included in the price. Another thing I want to talk about is ship time. This was something that I did not think about prior to getting on the ship. So we ended up going from Miami to Mexico, and of course there's a time change, but the ship operates off of ship time. And so I always wonder how people miss their cruises. If you have like your cellular data on and you drop off in Mexico, your time is going to change. And if you don't keep up with ship time, you could easily think that you have more time than you actually do. So make sure that you know ship time. You can actually find it in the app. It's always there. And just know that ship time is based off of wherever you embarked from. So my first impressions when coming into Virgin Voyages terminal, first impressions start there. It was just a big, beautiful space. There was nobody in there, so it was just empty. It was quiet, and it was just very bright. Everyone, the customer service was amazing. So getting on the ship, of course, you have your crew that's super excited. They're like hyping you up coming on the ship. Sadly, because we went during hurricane season and it was embarkation day, we're supposed to have the sail away party on the top deck, but in the rain, they actually moved it inside. And we got on, we kind of looked around. The the area is very much a luxury. Like, it seems like you're walking into a luxury hotel when you first walk on the ship. The decor, everything is just, they did that, okay? So we went and we found our room. The room, of course, when you first open the door, the room greets you with the curtains opening and the music and the lights. And it was a really cool intro into the first day of our cruise. So I thought that was really cool and nice. It was super easy to go to the little iPad just because I already knew what to do. So I went to the iPad, turned on our safety video. And then we found our way to the muster point, which just happened to be in the casino. That was really smooth and easy. And then we were free to explore the ship from there. You could go eat, you could go hang out, whatever you want to do. So first impressions, I knew I was going to be on an amazing cruise from the jump. Next on my list, we're going to talk about the stateroom. So we had a standard balcony cabin, which for us was plenty of space. I know they have an extra large sea terrace option as well, but we didn't need that much space. So, but we do pack light. So if you are a person that brings like multiple suitcases, you may need a little bit more space if there's 2 of you in the room, but for us, it was just enough. They had water there. We requested still water, so both of our water bottles were full of still. We had a mini fridge, as well as like desk space, which was great because I had to work while we were on the cruise. The bathroom was super nice, but it was also super tiny. So I love the walk-in shower, but if you are a person that likes space, maybe the extra large sea terrace would be the option for you, because this bathroom was big enough for barely one person to be in there at a time. So, but it was still really nice, really clean, and like I said, it was enough for us. Another thing that I just loved about this room was the balcony. The hammock was my favorite place to be 90% of the time on the ship. I took so many naps in that hammock. It was beautiful. We had unobstructed view, and it was just really, it was really nice. I enjoyed it. You can also reconfigure the bed. It's like a queen bed, but it's actually 2 twins put together, and they can separate the beds if you don't want to share, or they can turn it down into a sofa during the day if you like. We had a room attendant come by while we were in there after our safety video, and they basically told us, you know, which buttons to press if you need them to come and reconfigure your beds or clean or bring you extra anything. So I thought that was really cool. Last thing with the stateroom that I want to talk about is the Wi-Fi. So if you've talked to anyone that sells Virgin Voyages, I'm sure that you've heard the app and the Wi-Fi suck. And so going into this, I knew I was gonna have to work, and so I paid for the premium Wi-Fi, which ended up being like $140 for the entire trip, and unfortunately it still sucked. I got kicked out of my app every single day, and it was just not the best. I was able to do a little bit of work, but don't waste your money, I guess is the thing to say. I did use my cell phone, so when we got to the port in Mexico, I just turned my cell phone on and handled my business there. So the Wi-Fi is not great. Ooh, now on to everyone's favorite thing about Virgin, the food. There were so many restaurant options, over 20 food choices. You do not run out of things to eat. I don't think I ate the same thing twice while I was out there. The buffet, that is one thing that I've always like dreaded on a cruise ship. I haven't been on a cruise since I was 15 prior to this one, and all I could remember was how terrible the buffet area was. But on Virgin, because there's so many different stations, self-serve as well as being served, I never stood in a line more than a couple of minutes long. Like, there was plenty of space, so you didn't have the gaggling of people. So many options, so many delicious options. So that was great. They also had like pizza and ice cream for free in different parts of the ship. You have restaurants on the very top decks, like where you're working out and stuff. So that was really cool. Like, you can go up to the top and get your sushi. They had bars all over. So no matter which side of the ship you were on, you could easily get to the food. Restaurants, The restaurants are awesome. If you don't do anything else, make sure that 45 days before your cruise, if you are a regular sailor, that you make sure that you book every single one of those restaurants for every night of your cruise. That is something that you 100% do not want to miss, because every restaurant is completely different. Some are better than others, but at least try them all out. And I'll talk about my favorite restaurants and how I felt about the food in another video. Now we're gonna talk about navigating the ship. So Virgin Voyages, I was on the Valiant Lady, and it's a big ship. They do a very good job of having the guides posted on the elevators or in the elevator area, so it tells you like what stuff is on each floor. Very easy to read. And then once you get off at that floor, they have little arrow signs that show you where which direction to go, like which side to go on. So it's kind of hard to get lost, but that makes it a little bit easier to find. So if you're confused about where you are, where you need to go, find the elevators and look at the arrows. For the onboard activities, so there is always something to do on this ship. Even from the first day before we even sailed off, there were things to do, whether you like to party, play games, if you like to swim, if you like to work out. There's literally something for everybody. They had a basketball court, pickleball court. I've never even played pickleball, and I played pickleball on this cruise. They also have like karaoke, which you can sign up for. They had board games. They have trivia games where you play with other sailors. There's just so much. And then as far as like your entertainment, parties, the shows that the cruise put on, some of them were just amazing shows. Like if you don't do anything else, make sure that you eat all the food and that you go see as many shows as possible. I think I only missed one show that I really wanted to go to, and that was because I just had too much fun the day before and I didn't make it. And that was actually the Dual Realities one that everyone talks about, and I didn't get to see it, but I did get to see some of the performers at Scarlet Night, so I could tell that the show had to be amazing because of the show that they were putting on. Most of the events were unticketed, so you could add it to your agenda on your app, and then you just make sure that you show up in time to get a seat. I only showed up to one show that seemed like there was really no seating, but it ended up just being that everybody was going in on one side. There was a whole other side that was empty. So when you're cruising during these off seasons, there's probably a lot more space. I can see that being an issue if we were going during the more popular times, because those places fill up quickly. So make sure that you're there at least 20 to 15 minutes before to make sure that you get a good seat. Another thing that I know a lot of people wonder about is, what if I don't want to get off the ship on port days? Is there going to be anything to do? So I actually had some friends that never got off the ship at any of our stops, and they said that there was still plenty to do. They still have events for the people, because they know everyone doesn't want to get off the ships. They still had multiple activities going on. Not sure if they had any shows going on during port days, but for sure there were different types of activities like trivia, puzzles, just being able to go and meet other sailors and hang out at the pools and the hot tubs, things like that. So you still have things to do, not as many as when it's a sea day, but there's still things to do for people that don't want to get off the ship. Excursions. So this is one that I just see a lot of people talking about how expensive the excursions are. And indeed, the excursions are expensive, but I would say that some of them are worth the price. We had so much fun, even with our itinerary changing because of the weather, which is something I'll talk about later. But in Mexico, we went to the cenotes and we did a Jeep excursion, a tequila tasting. It was so much fun. And so even though it was expensive, and initially I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I actually want to pay for this, after the experience, it was 100% worth it. So I would tell you, if you see something on that excursion list that you want to do, sign up for it. Maybe sign up for it prior to sailing, because I know some of the excursions sold out pretty fast. So if that's something that you want to do, make sure that you book those excursions. They have all kinds, like they have the full day ones, they have half days. You can go do like little tours, or you eat and drink different things, or you can do the full day tours like the cenotes, like what we did. They have snorkeling, beach tours, tubing activities. I mean, I'm just talking about the Caribbean itinerary. I'm sure there's so many more, but I know for sure on the Mexico itinerary and the Bimini, there was plenty to do to keep you busy. So you won't run out of excursions if that's your thing. So let's talk about the all-inclusive. So Virgin prides themselves on everything being included. And I have to say that for the most part, they're right on. I mean, their specialty restaurants, which is a big deal on most cruise lines, were available to everyone. You just had to make a reservation and you could go eat there at least one time. They make sure that you can eat there at least one time. Overall, yes, everything is included. In some of the restaurants, you could see on the menu paid options for food, which are basically like upgrades. Like you could upgrade to having fresh oysters at the wake and things like that. But that's 100% personal choice. You do not have to pay for the food, and you still get a lot of really great options without paying anything, which is excellent. Onto the drinks. I think that it's awesome that water, coffee, tea, and sodas are 100% free. So you don't have to worry about paying for any of those, which if you don't drink alcohol, that's perfect. You don't have to pay anything. But if you do like alcohol or specialty coffees or drinks, then you will be paying a little bit of money. So Virgin, unlike other cruise lines, they don't make you buy a drink package. And I loved that because I don't drink much alcohol. And so drink packages kind of deter me altogether, because what am I going to spend my money on? On Virgin, you actually buy bar tab. And so the benefits of buying bar tab before your cruise is that most times they have specials going on where if you buy this much bar tab, you can get this much extra. And so that's the benefit of buying bar tab prior to embarkation. But if that's not something that interests you, you can always just buy Sailor Loot or just charge it to your card. So personally, I did not put any money into the bar tab, not for any particular reason. I just, like I said, don't drink that much. And so I figured, do I even need bar tab? I'm not going to spend $300 on drinks. We'll get back to that later. But bar tab is an easy way to say, this is how much money I'm going to spend on drinks, and that's it. You see it in your app, and as you make purchases, it goes down. Another cool thing about the bar tab on Virgin Voyages is you can spend it on whoever you want. It's not a personal tab. You can spend your money on however many drinks you want, on anybody. And so I think that's really cool, because if only one person in the room wanted to drink, then you don't have to have $600 worth of bar tab. You can have $20, $300, $1,000, however much you want, and you can spend it however you want on the ship. So I thought that was really, really cool. So like I said before, I did not buy any bar tab because I was like, who drinks that much? I'm not going to drink $300 worth of alcohol on this ship. I was wrong. But not because of the alcohol, but I love my matcha lattes and smoothies, and boy, do those things add up. The smoothies were like $15 at Razzle Dazzle, and they were so good that I ordered multiple smoothies. And so yeah, my tab added up, and we ended up paying an additional $600 at the end of our cruise for all of the things that we purchased on board. So maybe bar tab is a good idea. I don't know. Maybe drink packages aren't really that bad after spending $600 anyway. But yeah, that's that. But yes, Virgin is pretty much all inclusive. I don't think it gets more inclusive than that. And so if that's something that you're looking for, Virgin is definitely ahead of the game on that. Last thing that I want to talk about is, who is this cruise for? Because when you research online, you get all kinds of information. I remember right before our cruise, my husband finally looked up the actual cruise, and he was like, what kind of cruise are you taking me on? You guys, it's not like that at all. On every cruise, of course, there's going to be different types of people that are there for different reasons, but that's every cruise. And for some reason, everyone thinks Virgin is just like this wild, wacky cruise, and that is not the case. It is adults only, which means that all of the entertainment and things that you see on the cruise are adult only content, of course. So if that's something that bothers you or makes you feel uncomfortable, maybe this isn't the cruise for you. But if you just like to have fun and party, Virgin is for anyone. There were people there ranging from all ages. I mean, like 18 all the way to like 7. I think the oldest person in one of our shows was like 78. So that's a huge generational gap, and there's still so much to do for everybody. The shows aren't really tailored to any particular age group. The parties are all very different. So there's something for everyone, every type of personality. I'm not a partier. I went to the pajama party and Scarlet Night, and I think I stayed at both for probably 30 minutes tops all together, because I'm just not the partier. But I still went and found things to do. I was playing games, I was playing pickleball, just hanging out on my balcony in the hammock. So even if you're like an introverted type of person, Virgin is still a great choice, especially if you're going for your first cruise. I think Virgin was really simple. If I was looking for a cruise line for like first time cruisers and they're over 18, I would 100% send them on Virgin Voyages first, especially if you really don't know if you like cruising or not. I think Virgin is a great first choice. So if you're thinking about it, if you're concerned, I think if you try Virgin Voyages, you'll either love it or hate it. But Virgin is a great place to start just because of the all-inclusive. You don't have to worry about all of the rules and things that come with classic cruising. So yeah, Virgin is a great first choice option. And so there you have it. That pretty much sums it all up on my first review of Virgin Voyages. Of course, we have so much more that I did not touch on in this video. I had a great time. There were some things, of course, that I didn't like, some things that I really liked, and we'll talk about those in later videos. But I just wanted to give a simple Virgin Voyages review before I get down into the nitty-gritty, just a simple overview of everything that it has to offer, and we'll talk about the specifics another time.